This program is brought to you by Tab. We're on. Download the app today. What are you really gambling with?
Searcy, welcome to the final episode of Thoroughbreds Are Go for Series 1 in 2024. Coming up on this week's show, we visit TBA Fast Track graduate Abby Wheatland, now a stallion handler with Darley Godolphin, showing the crossover that is possible between the equestrian world and the breeding and racing industry. The Melbourne International three-day event at Ware over the June long weekend attracted large numbers of super competitive thoroughbreds, and we catch up on the progress in the rehoming of thoroughbreds in Victoria. And a wonderful Arrowfield stud beyond the winning post. Where are they now? Featuring their queen, the Golden Slipper, Victorian Oaks and Australian Guineas winner and super successful broodmare Miss Finland. Now retired from breeding, but loved by everyone she's touched at her birthplace from the day she was born. That's all coming up in a bumper episode of Thoroughbreds Are Go. Last week we looked at Thoroughbred Breeders Australia's Fast Track course and how it brings newcomers from the equestrian world and outside it into the breeding and racing industry. This week we have a great story on Abby Wheatland, who went through the Fast Track training course and is now in one of the most exciting jobs in the breeding industry as a stallion handler at Darley Godolphin's New South Wales base. Abby is also a great advocate for the thoroughbred and a wonderful example to other young people wanting to get a great career in the thoroughbred industry. It's really fascinating to follow your progress through from doing Thoroughbred Breeders Australia's Fast Track program, now working here at Darley Godolphin in the stallion division and working with horses such as Bivouac. It's been a really fast transition, I guess, from learning so much with Fast Track and now handling this wonderful ex-racehorse.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't expect to get as far as I did, as quick as I did, but I guess a lot of hard work and passion kind of got me there, but still surreal in the sense that I come down after having a bit of time off and get to handle horses like Bivouac and I still pinch myself. It's pretty incredible.
Now, you did have a bit of a background. So, you know, as a baby, you were plonked on the back of a horse, you had a standard bred as a teenager, but tell us about what made you want to do. You were working at Hungry Jack's and working in a stable, so you had a great work ethic, but what made you really think that Fast Track would be good for you?
Well, to be honest, like you said, I've always loved the horses. Always seen myself working with them, but I wasn't quite sure whether that would be a ridden job, or I honestly did not know much about the breeding industry at all. After working in the racing stable and help from a friend, I found Fast Track, and honestly at the time I was kind of at a standstill and thought, why not? It'd be a great opportunity, and was not expecting to get it, but I did, so just kind of unspooled from there. Overall, it's a pretty incredible course. You cover everything from nutrition, as simple as hoof care, general handling of horses, the estrus cycle, breeding, everything, breeding, yearlings, everything. Whether you're coming into it with nothing or coming into it with horse experience already, you can always pick something up from it.
You know, for a lot of people, they don't have the confidence probably to really want to be on the back of these thoroughbreds, but this is a great option if you don't want to actually be riding, but you do want to work in this industry.
Absolutely, and I think it's really good as well because like I said, you can come into it with zero horse experience, never touched a horse, and you can learn so much, and being able to work on farm, get paid, still have a job, but also learning, and go through the whole entire year. You've got the whole sector from everything from breeding, foaling down, yearling prep, like everything. It's just such a great course, and you can pick up so much and gain your confidence so quickly.
You do have your own off-track thoroughbred in Max. We'll have a look at him in a little while. But tell me a little bit about Bivouac himself. I mean, he was a wonderful Group 1 winning sprinter, of course, by Exceed and Excel. He's the real hope of the side, you know, amongst an incredible stallion roster here at Darley. But tell us what you've learned, because you obviously are learning on the job now, and it's such a great stallion staff here at Darley too to learn from.
Yeah, absolutely. So the time that when he was running, I wasn't very involved in racing or again breeding or anything like that. So I didn't follow along his racing career, unfortunately. But he's been incredible to work with. One of the first couple that I kind of got on here at Darley, helped me build my confidence. He's a lovely horse, great to be around, and just build my confidence a lot. And the same as the team there, a few knowledgeable people there that I can learn so much from. Really help build up the confidence, and the stallion manager there is great, giving responsibility and putting trust into you pretty early on, and just letting you use your initiative really builds up your confidence into getting growing and getting better.
Yeah, and there's a great work ethic here, as there is in so many, whether it be studs or stables. I mean, you know, Darley have the Flying Start course, of course, for people around the whole world as well. But I love, you know, the neatness. Everything is done with a routine, which is so important, I guess, as a staff member to know the routine, because the horses love it so much, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially working with stallions, they just thrive off of routine. So having that routine in place and having people that have been here for a while and know the routine and so uplifting to help you to learn that routine is very nice. And it's also a lot easier as a staff member to kind of slot in and get used to it.
Let's ever loyal two in front of Scott Bason's wing note.
Your off-track thoroughbred here, Ever Loyal. It's so great you can have a retired thoroughbred. A son of Sebring. He was a horse that won at Riccarton. He won a stakes race there. He was third in Embellishes, New Zealand 2,000 guineas. Sold through the NZB yearling sale. Sold as a weanling prior to that with the Newgate brand on him. But it's really great to see that, you know, you have the passion now to have your own off-track thoroughbred.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm very, very thankful and lucky that Godolphin lets me have my horse here. But yeah, it's very nice. Some days you have rough days at work, and it's nice to just come home to your own horse and be able to have a bit of fun with them, and it's really nice.
Yeah, and you've spent a lot of time. Tell us what you've done with him while you've had him.
Early on, I was just bringing him on slowly, some short trot work, building his muscles, getting him fattened up and stuff, and then started slowly riding him, taking him down to the river and stuff. We've got a beautiful river that runs through. It's really lovely for their legs and just a bit of fun. I lead him off of the work toros here and there, and plod him over some jumps, take him for trail rides with my friend. It's really good.
You obviously have a lot of confidence around horses now, and I guess that's part of the fast track, you know, training as well, of being taught that you know you're doing the right thing around them to you know, eliminate as much as you can the risk of you know, getting in their way or something going wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think just because of how they have laid out the course, you learn everything about as simple as putting on a head collar if it's something you've never done before, to safe zones in a horse and looking out for behaviours like horses throwing ears back and kicking, just stuff like that to really help you notice those things if you're not fully aware of it yet. Getting in there and handling that. I think they have stock horses there, and being able to go in there and start with those guys, and then the slow pace at the start of being on your farm and how supportive everyone is really definitely helps grow that confidence.
We've noticed here at Darley over the last few years too, there are a lot more girls and women that are actually handling the stallions. It's a great thing, isn't it, for you, I guess, coming in now to have, you know, I guess it's a bit of a support base, you know, amongst other women that are, you know, now involved in dealing with these incredible animals.
Yeah, absolutely. I knew when I started Fast Track, we had a few stallion tours of a couple studs like Coolmore. And when I first saw the stallions, I kind of knew that's what I wanted to do straight off the bat. And I worked at a stud down in South Australia called Cornerstone. They had a couple stallions there, and I was fortunate enough to get hands-on with them. And it was very intimidating coming up to the hunter thinking that's what I wanted to do, because it's has previously been a male-dominated part of the industry, but Godolphin was definitely always pretty high on my priority list, just because I'd seen through parades and stuff that there were a lot of women on the stallions, and it's very uplifting and encouraging seeing other women on stallions, and makes you feel like you can do it, sort of thing.
What's your aim? I mean, what I can see in the future, as you said, you weren't really in the industry when Bivouac was racing, but boy, I reckon you're going to love it when you see the first of the Bivouac foals racing.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very excited to follow along Bivouac, even likes of Animos. Be really interesting to see how they all go and see the full circle in the off season I get to work up at breaking with the babies and just see how everybody goes. And I think my long-term hopes for the industry is to travel a bit, get overseas, shuttle with some stallions for a little bit and just see the world while I can while I'm young and just honestly see what happens where it takes me.
Great to see so much passion in someone so new to the industry as Abby Wheatland. Coming up after the break on Thoroughbreds Are Go, all the thoroughbred action from the Melbourne International 3-day event. Every season on Thoroughbreds Are Go, we try to update viewers on the progress of the different programs for rehoming thoroughbreds in each state and territory. In Victoria, evidence of the success of some of their programs was seen at the prestigious Australian International 3-day event at Ware with some excellent performances by off-track thoroughbreds. So tell me, Mel, what numbers of thoroughbreds are involved in competition at the Melbourne International 3-day event at Ware?
Here this weekend we've got 63 OTTs competing, which is 39% of the whole field. What's really exciting is that year on year the thoroughbreds that are here competing are actually up 10%.
Does the Racing Victoria off-track program have any new initiatives at this year's 3-day event?
Every single year our initiatives get bigger and bigger, so this year we're really excited to introduce the OTT 1-star long, which is just for retired thoroughbreds. We had 26 horses out there competing and it was so popular that it was actually balloted, so essentially people got a start depending on their previous performances. They make such good eventers because of their agility and their stamina and their versatility. There's not many other animals that can transition from one career into another, and it's so wonderful to see these horses out here competing knowing that they previously were racehorses.
There are certainly some famous names here competing on thoroughbreds, Shanae Lowings and Bold Venture, of course being one of the most high profile, but there are so many others too at the elite level of competition.
Absolutely, so obviously we're coming into an Olympic year. This year is the Olympics in Paris, which is really exciting, and it's fantastic to see Shanae out there competing on an OTT. She's actually leading the 3-star as well on another OTT, so it's just really wonderful leading into these big end events to see so many competitors out there in the elite ranks.
Ready, gates are back and away.
It's so important, isn't it, for all racing jurisdictions and racing bodies to support these events, isn't it? I guess the more incentives there are to encourage riders to take on thoroughbreds and compete in these events, the more horses get great new homes.
Across the weekend, across all levels, thoroughbreds are well represented. So as I mentioned, we've got the 1-star OTT class through to the 4-star, and what's really exciting at the moment is we've got thoroughbreds that are leading an equal second in the 3-star. Tegan Ashby's looking to go back to back on her OTT Magic Mushroom. So, you know, it's all happening here on the last day at Melbourne 3-day, and it's just super exciting.
We are so appreciative of everyone that supported the new class. So obviously EV, Racing Victoria, Off the Track, everybody Off the Track for their sponsorship of the class. It really allows, you know, the more inexperienced horses that have had a previous life in racing come out and see what the 3 days are about. And hopefully we see a lot of the same horses back in the 2-star, 3-star, 4-star in years to come. So it was a really good opportunity to get that exposure for those horses, yeah.
Yeah, so my partner and I, Sam Woods, have 5 thoroughbreds between us this weekend. We've just been really lucky to come across great thoroughbreds. They're such an amazing breed and really suit the sport. So I guess when you give them the opportunity to change their career, it's amazing, and it gives them the best possible chance in life. They're just so willing and so easy to train, so that's why I love them. It's a great atmosphere for the horses to start at 2-star level. It really gets the horses from a young age used to the atmosphere, and the course is so inviting for the younger levels as well, so I just love it. It's great for the horses and in their improvement. I'm hoping to be selected for Paris Olympics on Bold Venture, so that's in the next few weeks. We'll hear about selection, and then hopefully off to Paris in July, so we'll come home and then regroup and get the other thoroughbreds out.
He's a really good jumper, so it was more If anything went wrong, it was more a reflection on me than him. But my round was clear, under time, he jumped brilliantly, and I couldn't ask for any more than that. I really believe in the horse, so to get the job done today, is a big relief, and so happy. And I think it'll take a few days to process, but this horse is just a gem, and I'm so blessed to have him, and he's just a great partner.
This will be his 6th off the track winning rug. He's done very well in the off the track classes that they've sponsored at each of the events. It's a huge honour. I think it's a great program to really encourage the rehoming of the racehorses. Like you can see over the weekend, they're just phenomenal. Like, they're a little tough. They give you everything. You know, he ran around 10 minutes and 10 seconds yesterday, and then he came out and jumped his socks off today. So you really can't fault them. So it's a really good program to be.
Tell us about the work being done in your off-track setup at Werribee. It's important to have a presence here, but you're also providing an incredible amount of information for people who've taken on or are interested in taking on thoroughbreds.
It is so important. This is such a wonderful opportunity for not only Racing Victoria but off the track to engage with the public, to educate people on life after racing and the options that we do have for thoroughbreds. So we are here proudly activating and proudly promoting life after racing and post-racing careers for retired Victorian thoroughbreds. We want to be here, we want to be on the ground, talking to the general public and promoting retired racehorses, speaking to new owners and OTT riders about how their horses are going, or if they've had any little hiccups along the way, and how we may be able to assist with our programs. Not only do we have our acknowledged retrainer network, but we've got some really important programs such as our reset program, our companion horse program, and some really important partnerships. So we want to be out here continuing to push and promote retired racehorses in their second careers.
It feels as if we're coming to a juncture in the program supporting thoroughbreds away from racing. It's really hard for retrainers to cover their costs. And while there are, of course, various percentages of prize money going to welfare in different states and territories, it isn't enough to cover the number of horses that need to transition out of racing and the breeding industry, is it?
Well, Racing Victoria, we guide the ship on equine welfare, but it is a shared responsibility and everyone has a role to play. So everyone from breeders, trainers, owners, through to bloodstock auction houses and the like. We are a collective, and as an industry we need to work collectively on this. And
it's so important to have this discussion we're seeing at the moment. The racing world can't expect the equestrian world to take on these horses and keep them for life. So, alternatives must be looked at. Is there an ideal model to safeguard all ex-racehorses?
As we know, PRAs and different organisations across the country have different models that we use. So there is no one specific answer for this. What's really important is we've done a mountain of work. The industry has done a mountain of work in the previous 10 years on this, but we can't take our foot off the accelerator. We need to keep progressing and we need to keep innovating. So it's really important that as an industry we continue to push forward and we keep this on the agenda and looking for new and improved ways for efficiencies and innovation to keep moving the dial on equine welfare.
It seems as if more and more owners are really getting involved in supporting their racehorses into new careers, but more owners still need to take responsibility for their horses when they retire, don't they? What do you think are the best ways for owners to go about supporting their horses?
Yeah, so what we're seeing is more and more owners who are sending financial support along with their horse to the retrainer or their new owner. It's really about helping that horse become established in their new home and their new career and in that first transition once they move away from racing. So it's that commitment that even though the horse has finished racing and has retired, that the owners are committed to those horses. Whilst we do see owners who are taking on that responsibility, this is an industry-wide initiative that we need all owners and trainers, and everyone needs to be committed to their horses when they finish racing.
So great to see thoroughbreds performing in such big numbers at such a huge event. Coming up after the break, a wonderful finale to this series of Thoroughbreds Go in Arrowfield Studs. Beyond the winning post, where are they now? We feature their queen, Miss Finland, a super race filly and outstanding broodmare, and the people who've loved her here at Arrowfield from the day she was born.
Finland has taken the lead in the Golden Slipper. John Massara, the owner, told David Hayes, I'm going to give you the best 2-year-old filly in Australia when he gave her this one. And boy, is she the best 2-year-old in Australia.
Matt, Miss Finland, we talk about her as the Queen of Arrowfield. I mean, there are very few race fillies who can win a Golden Slipper, 7 months later come out, win a VRC Oaks, and then of course go on and beat the boys as a 3-year-old in the Australian Guineas. She was one of a kind as a racehorse, and she's been just a beautiful broodmare here, hasn't she?
A long dynasty, and hopefully it will continue that way for many years to come. And it's the fantastic thing about these broodmares with such a depth of pedigree. They don't always go on to succeed at stud, but you know, there are those that do, and she's certainly amongst those illustrious few, such as Urban Sea and those great mares that just continue to produce and keep giving. Very strong fillies family, of course, but she has had some good colts. I think she's herself produced 5 group stakes horses, and of course probably the most important one, they're all important, but Stay With Me, that has won a Group 1 herself, and through her daughters hopefully that Miss Finland line will continue.
As you say, I mean, not all the mares get the chance. You know, they only have a foal a year. Some years they don't have a foal. They can be sent to the stallions that don't work for them, or the horse has to come out to basically be an Olympic athlete to be a Group 1 winner. Very hard when they get those small chances compared to the stallions. But as you say, I mean, Stay With Me, 1,000 guineas. Her foal, Waltz On By, the filly, a dual stakes winner. Divana was 3rd in a Skyline. Then you get Earth Angel, as you mentioned.
Pleasuring first, Earth Angel second.
She's thrown Shilda Krug, a stakes performer. Bucharest, who was the Deep Impact we filmed as a gorgeous foal here at Arrowfield. You know, you forget he was 3rd in a Spring Champion in a Group 1 and a Gloaming. 4th in a Rough Habit. Miracle of Love, 2-year-old winner, but 2nd in a JJ Atkins. I mean, that is a successful broodmare by anyone's stretch.
We've read out a fraction of a page. It literally is the length of your arm. I think these female families, which every stud tries to get hold of, but if you get the right one and it works out well for you, and fortuitously it has for Arrowfield, you can really build a bit of a dynasty on them. They can do it for you, of course, and everyone's looking for these special sort of mares. But if you look further back in Miss Finland's pedigree to Moonshell, an Oaks winner, and Moon Cactus, and great fillies family, owned and developed by the late Maktoum Al Maktoum, which is probably how Miss Finland came to be bred, through the relationship that Arrowfield had with the Maktoum family when they were dipping their toe in Australian waters, as it were. But it's just a great depth of family, and it can just keep providing, which is just fantastic.
She's always been a special horse to all of us at Arrowfield, but obviously I was at the yearling sales when she was a yearling. I got to go there. I was there slipper day when she won the slipper, which was an amazing day, obviously. Her first start as a 3-year-old, she won the day my daughter was born. So my wife has a real affinity with her. She used to help look after her when she worked here, so she always asks, where is she? She likes to go around the farm and visit her. And, I've got to take her, sons and daughters to the sales as well. And she's always been a lovely, kind, beautiful mare to help look after her. Obviously, I don't look after her on a day-to-day basis. The girls out there do an amazing job of doing that, but everything you've always had to do with her. She's just, a really nice mare, and, what she's done at stud, obviously throwing a Group 1 winner, which was amazing as well. It's been a privilege to be a part of, her life.
And she does have something special, doesn't she? I mean, she is the leader of the herd, isn't she, really?
Yeah, she always has been, even from when she was born. Sam said the moment, he looked at her, she was, a special horse. So, yeah, she's always been, top of the tree.
Looking at her now as a retired broodmare, when they finished their life as broodmares, they can go on and be nannies or whatever, but what's her day-to-day routine now for Miss Finland?
She's always been the matriarch since I've been here. And I'm sure my predecessors, when they managed her, would tell you the same thing. She has that presence, and she's a very special mare. So her daily routine is that she'll be always cared for here at Arrowfield, and she will end up being a nanny. She'll have a job where she'll take care of weanlings, fillies. She'll have a safe place and we'll take care of her. Kath Stockdale, who manages one of our areas, she takes care of the nannies. Get best treatment arguably of all the horses. They're left wanting for nothing, and Kath takes care of them very carefully and diligently. But she'll certainly have a place here, and you know, although we say she's retired, she still very much sees herself as a matriarch. She has that presence where she's always looking off into the distance like a lot of the good mares do, you know, almost giving the impression that she's just tolerating your company being by you. That regal sort of look, as a lot of these good race mares do. You know, she's a character, very much an important part of the Arrowfield team. You know, even though she's retired, you know, just having her around is just marvellous, as it is having all of these great horses around us.
She means a lot to the whole of Arrowfield, doesn't she?
Yeah, she's part of the family. She literally is just part of the Arrowfield family.
Great to see the care taken with any retired broodmare, but the womb to tomb ethos here at Arrowfield Stud, particularly for mares such as Miss Finland, is just beautiful to see. That's it for this series of Thoroughbreds Go. We'll be back in the spring with another 5 episodes. I'm Caroline Searcy. I look forward to seeing you then.
This program is brought to you by Tab. We're on. Download the app today. What are you really gambling with?